Hi, good evening, everybody. Damon Gonzalez from Latinbox Sports. It's great to be back. It's been about a week or two. We're happy to be back on the show. We have a very nice show tonight. We're looking forward and getting in, digging in, and throwing some body shots and talking to the fighter and just getting into some great stuff. Um, I want to take a few minutes, of course, on behalf of myself and my family and the National Boxing Association, not to shift gears, of course, but I definitely want to give my condolences to the Flansburgh family. Walter Butch Flansburgh, very close and dear friend of mine, passed away. So, very saddened about this tragedy, and Godspeed. So again, we have a great show tonight. We're happy to be back on. We have a young man coming on the show, and when you talk about greatness in the sport of boxing, the males, the females, everybody out there in the sports doing everything they can to dig hard and be the best they are and the best you can be in everything you do in the sport, and we expect nothing less. So without further ado, we want to bring in this young man and take a few minutes and chat with him and talk with him and brainstorm with him because he's a good kid. I mean, I met him a while back and I got to see him fight a few times, but I'm just so delighted and so happy. Everybody, let's give a round of applause out there for everybody following on the show. For Evan Holyfield, young Holy, is joining us today on the show. Good evening, Evan.
Hey, thank you for having me.
How you doing? Welcome to the Slip Punches Show.
Hey, thanks. I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good, man. Last time I saw you, you were in the ring, and we'll
Yes, sir.
definitely get into that and stuff like that. And how you been doing otherwise? You been doing well?
I've been doing real good. I'm back in the gym, just getting back to it and stuff like that. Looking forward for the upcoming things coming forward.
I'll tell you what. Look, as a 24-year-old young man, you have been able to paint your own. I want to say paint your own picture in what you're doing in the sport in boxing, and in your own words, just tell everybody what does that mean to you.
Pinning my own picture. It's a day by day thing. You know what I mean. At first, my name's always been Evan, half of my dad's name, last name Holyfield. So I've always been related to my dad. So, and when people always refer to me, they always want to bring up my dad or ask me about my dad. But it's always just a day to day process, and a fight to fight thing too. Because at the end of the day, you really can't tell people to, respect you. People just end up respecting you just by, you got to prove it to them. You got to show them something. And I feel like with every fight I do, yeah, I show, the audience, I show people audiences the glimpses of my differences from my dad, and I feel like they can relate to that, and the more they get to know me, I feel like yeah, and they just get to know the vast differences between me and my dad. We're different people, we got different personalities and stuff, but we have similar things together because he's my dad.
Absolutely, and of course, you guys, you come from a family of athletes, and we'll get into that as well. But young Holy in 2019, you came into the professional level of boxing, and main events, and everybody looked at you and they're like, "Oh yeah, by the way, you're fighting on Saul Canelo Alvarez card versus Kovalov," and you were asked to fight on that card on that platform. And let me just give a glimpse memory before you get into it. What was it like? 30 seconds of the first round, you got him out of there.
It was 16 seconds or 12 to
60
16
seconds.
seconds.
What'd you do? Just
Yeah.
land one punch on him or something?
Yeah, I hit him with like a quick flurry, and like in the whole flurry, I know the right hand, the hook really landed like super clean, and he didn't have a chance to throw any punches, and he fell down. And when the referee came and waved it off, I was confused. I was like, because my whole thing was with the whole like my pro debut was like going amateur to pro. My biggest question was, I wonder what it feels like to get hit, with the 10 ounce,
Sure.
pro style gloves, and I had to wait a couple more weeks to figure that out because he never had a chance to throw a punch.
But I'll tell you what, look back, and of course your memory's sharp, because your punches are sharp. But look back and say to yourself, "Wow, my my first ring walk, walking into that arena with thousands of people in the, I mean, thousands of people were in that arena. What was, and of course your focus, but what was going through your head at that time? Knowing that, wow, this is it."
Um, I know I have been to a couple fights in the MGM Grand. Just from I've never seen my dad fight in the MGM Grand, but he had took me to watch a couple other fights. Like I've seen Canelo fight there plenty of times. I've seen Eric Morales versus Barrera and stuff like that there. So it was just really just like a big vast moment of just really just taking in the air and just really just walking down the you're walking through the backstage and you start seeing all the pictures and stuff. And I was just like, it really just kind of hit me like my dad did this, before, but I don't have nobody to that stature, waiting for me out there. You know what I mean? So I knew, this is the beginning, and there's plenty of more steps, but it's just take one step at a time. Take it one fight at a time, and this is what we got to focus on if you want to get to, where where you want to be.
Now you have of course a brother that's in the NFL, and Elijah's a running back, and he's doing his thing. Man, how how awesome and humbling is that for, it's like you guys in the family are like taking a torch, and in just the level of professional sports is what I'm saying. How humbling is that for you?
It's really humbling. And, first I gotta say, give a shout out to my brother because his team made it to the Super Bowl. He was on the Bengals.
That's what's
Yeah,
up.
but that was what's up. I know that was a great experience for him. But it was really humbling, and really, you just kind of just could take examples just from my dad and stuff like that. My dad was never a boastful type person. And the number one thing he always instilled in all of us, while we was all over there was, just work hard, and if you keep your head down, work hard, and you'll get the results that that you're bargaining for.
Now, basically, all your young fights have been by KO or TKO, and you actually had two fights that you got some rounds in, you got some work in. What do you remember most about getting in there and sitting on your punches and just, doing what you love to do?
Oh yeah, my last fight was a 6 rounder, and I actually went the whole distance. So I really learned a lot from it, and ultimately, I feel like the number one thing I learned from is just just take your time. When people say really like take your time and just let things develop off your jab, as long as you work off your jab, that is definitely no lie. Because you can go in there and you can try to be hasteful and try to force things, and for some people that may work. It may work one time or another, but at a certain point in time, you're gonna have to rely on that jab. And where every fight that I have, at least I could say, I feel like I could learn from it. You know what I mean? You get your good and your bad, and you divvy it out, and you go to your next fight, and you want to apply that to your next one. But I know for the most part, the biggest thing I really learned was just take your time and wait for things to open up off your jab, because being too hasteful, it doesn't always get you the things that you really want. But sometimes if you just sit back and it's just like my coach is saying, listen to your corner, things really do open up. And yeah, that's you know black and white.
Now, champ, I gotta ask you, of course, I was at your fight on the undercard of the Shakur Stevenson's fight card in Atlanta, and home cooking, man, fighting at home in Atlanta, Georgia. I mean, definitely that was, I'm sure, one of your goals that you set for yourself in your career.
Oh yes, yes, definitely. Definitely was. I was telling my friends about it like probably like a year ago. I was like, yeah, when the State Farm Arena was just being built and stuff like that, I was like, it would be cool to be able to fight in the State Farm Arena, because the Phillips Arena is no more, no, and everything. Same thing with the Georgia Dome. So we got everything new. So I feel like that's like the first big boxing match that's really been there besides Javante Davis. So it was definitely like a real good treat and a real blessing to be able to fight in front of all my friends and family, especially my high school friends and stuff, and all my family, because everybody always be wondering what I'd be doing, because I'd be like not like off the grid, but I'd be in the gym all the time, and he'd be like, "Yeah, what you be doing, or where you going to fight in Georgia?" And I actually had the opportunity, and it was great.
It was definitely a life you chosen at a young age. And when was that crossroad for you? How young were you when you decided, hey, I want to box, I want to be a fighter?
I gotta say, I had my first fight when I was 8, but that was just because me and my dad and my brother Elijah were also like talking in the conversation. And, that very same day, he's put into Georgia games. He taught us the 1-2, but we
Right.
put us into Georgia games, and we ended up winning and stuff like that. But my mom didn't want me to box no more, so she made me play every other sport until like I could really like make the decision for myself. And I gotta say, I was around like eighth grade, ninth grade, between there, because my brother, like I said, like you said, he was doing really good in football, and I like started to like, you know, I see like the time that he invests. I this is something like I give a big ups to my brother. I seen like all the time that he invested into football, like literally everything he wanted to do had something to do with football. During the summer, all he would do was go to football camps and stuff like that. And I wanted to find something that I had a niche for myself. And I remember one day I was up in my room since I'm on the computer, and for some reason there was like something that was like it had to be like around like 2010, 11. For some reason there was a lot of young prodigies coming up. You know what I mean? It was like a young prodigy wave or something like that, and all of them were coming up in boxing. And like in my head, I was like thinking I was like around like 15 years old, 14. I was like, am I too old? You know what I mean? Because not like too old, because I know there's kids who like start at a very young age. That's how these young prodigies work. They're start at a young age, and I was like, am I too behind the thing to be able to catch up? But I had ended up catching an Earl Spence video, and Earl Spence was explaining how he had started boxing at 15 years old, and and I watched that and a couple Pacquiao videos, and I told my dad I really wanted to box, and that was the only sport I wanted to do, because I said that's the one common thread between everybody who was successful, and I listened to all their stories. They all quit all their sports to play one sport, and I went and I told my dad, I was like, that's all I want to do. So that's when to try boxing, and yeah, the first year or so I was not good. It was definitely a learning process, and it was really kind of like it's like you get set back, but some people get discouraged. But for me, I would get set back, in my sparring sessions, because I'll be going against people who were like way better than me, and I'd be upset about it. But I'll come back and like, I may land a couple more punches, and I'm not even talking about like 15 punches. I may land like 5 more punches, and I'd be like, all right, I'm getting somewhere. You know what I mean? And it was like a little chipping block, and until like one day, one of the people came up to me on one of my sparring partners. He was like Golden Gloves champion. He said, Evan, he said, one day you're gonna be better than all of us. You're gonna be better than all of us. Like, trust me, trust me. And I was like, and I never understood why he kept saying that. You know what I mean? Like why he said that to me. But he kept telling me that. He was like, if you just stick to it, you'll be good, because you're getting better every little bit. And it's like the every little bit of encouragement, the village and the people surround you, the people around you, they all pour into you, and it really could take somebody a long way, because my confidence really wasn't the best when I first started boxing. And that's what boxing, I feel like that's one of the most important things about boxing is having confidence. And it's important to have people around you that that keep your head up.
Absolutely. Young Evan, back to what you said earlier when you talked about, the real deal, the champ, your dad, and you mentioned that to him for the first time. What was the reaction? How did the champ, was he like frozen in the chair? What was the reaction from him?
I actually remember exactly. He's just like, he does the little eyebrows way.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he gave me one of the eyebrow what he was like, really? And
That's
but
what
he
I'm
had
talking.
yeah, but ultimately he had really broke it down to me really quick. He was like, don't be boxing because I box, make
Right.
sure you're boxing because you want to box, because at the end of the day, this isn't an easy sport. It's not a team sport, you
It's not.
know. Literally, what comes to the the whole saying.
Sure.
And yeah, the whole quote. And yeah, he was telling me like, when I'm gonna be in that ring, and people gonna always want to draw these comparisons. He told me about the comparisons and everything, and he was like, but ultimately, you're the one that's gonna be getting hit, not me. So it doesn't matter how good they say I am. It's about all the hard work that you put in. If you
That's
want to,
right.
because he even told me at the end of it, he was like, at the end of the day, every generation, you know, gets better. You know what I mean? Like a generation's supposed to be better and better. So he was like, you
Absolutely.
he said, you could be better than me. He was like, you could absolutely be better than me, but people aren't gonna want you, people are gonna want to put you in the box, and it's gonna be up to you and yourself and to push your limits and how much hard work you want to put in. And nobody can push it the table harder than me.
Nah, champ, don't listen to those dudes, man.
Oh yeah, I'm already knowing, people always going to say some stuff, but he told me that early on, you know.
Champ, the backing with your promotions and everything that's happening, give us some feedback. And they've really been supportive with you in this journey so far in your young career.
Oh yeah, main events. Hold on. Yeah, main events. They've been supportive through everything, and even when I first got signed, they were the ones to fly out and actually want to meet me in person and stuff like that. So I took all that to heart, and me and main events are like family. Kathy, Jolene, and all of them. Joe Rotunda. I know the whole staff.
They're awesome. They're wonderful, wonderful people. Know them for a lot of years. I had the opportunity to sit ringside in a couple of your dad's fights back in the day and stuff like that. And let me tell you, man, just a legend, just a legend. Champ, let's talk about this new venture. About you, of course. This has been a great opportunity. You got a phone call, and you have great athletic promotion support. There's a group in Connecticut that really stands, but behind you,
Mm-hmm.
and you just did this awesome uh, documentary, and it's through Discovery Plus. Okay, and we're gonna call it right in the shadow of greatness. Talk about that experience in filming that, and it just dig into that. Hit some, come on, body shots. Just go for it. Throw a couple of uppercuts, jab at me, throw it all out. Because let me tell you something, it's a beautiful documentary.
Yeah, I think it'll be a real good thing. There's three stories, and then there's Vashti Cunningham. She's a high jumper, and I believe she actually just went to the Olympics too. And of course you have Dwayne Wade's child, Zaire Wade,
Zaya,
and
yeah.
I know he's real good in basketball too. So I haven't had a chance to see in their parts, but I know for the most part this thing's been in the process for like almost like I'm not sure on their end, but I know they've been following me around and been to like all my fights for like the past like they've been to my very first fight, and the last fight they went to was the one in Atlanta.
Okay.
So that's the time frame of where it's at, and I feel like it's really going to be a really good and nice, interesting story because for a lot of people who don't know, I'm in Atlanta. This is where I train right now, and then when I have my camps and stuff, I do half my camp in Atlanta, and I finish it out in Cincinnati with Coach Mike Stafford. But before I had this going on, I was living in Houston, Texas, and I would train out there. Yeah, I lived out there and trained out there. So that's where the first half of the documentary is going to be, or the of the series is going to be, like the first couple episodes, because I didn't move to Atlanta until I didn't come back to Atlanta until like my after my fourth fight. Until after my fourth fight. So I feel like there's going to be like of course a personality switch, not like a personality switch, but like you're around a different group of people, and stuff like that, and then now you're in a whole entire different gym, and this is the gym where I came from, with Burt Wales and stuff like that. So I feel like it's gonna be way more organic, the second half, when I was in Atlanta, but you're gonna see all my hardships and everything, and all the glimpses of the hardships I had to endure and go through, um, you know. through this whole journey, and especially up there in Houston, because I feel like it was definitely a different narrative up there in Houston, because I didn't have no family or no parents around, as to opposed to where I'm at now. I have a lot of parents around and stuff like that. You know, my family.
Champ, Burt Wells is my dude. And let me tell you, you want to talk about you guys do so much in helping the younger generation of boxing because you can't keep it if you don't give it away. And you're that guy. You're that guy that does that. And talk about that. Talk about when these young kids come into the gym, how supportive you are of them.
Oh yeah, hey, we have a gym. It's called Paul Murphy Boxing Club, and I'm telling you, this is like a whole. The reason why I like my gym, Paul Murphy Boxing Club, because it's not just, sometimes you're depending on where you're at, definitely depending on where you're at, what state you're at. Sometimes you're going to a gym and it may be all Latino, or you may go to another gym and maybe like a lot of predominantly black people, stuff like that. And you might just find those little hoopty, fitness gyms, everywhere. But inside our gym, the best thing about it is it's like a melting pot of culture. We got Koreans, we got Hispanics, we got everybody, and it's like really cool because we're all close knit and tight. And at the end of the day, you can have all your problems. Everybody has their own separate problems, but it feels like inside that gym, those problems just disappear when you all just welcome each other. And, everybody's out looking out for one another and wanting to help each other and just want to see each other exceed. And that's the most important part, with anything. It's just having like minds around you who all have similar visions, who all have similar ambitions, and everybody wants to be the best. And you don't want anybody next to you, working next to you, who doesn't want to be the best, because if they don't want to be the best, who's going to be the one pushing you? If you don't want somebody push you who doesn't want to be the best. You know what I mean? So and it's a lot of young talent who come in, and a lot of personalities, for sure.
Definitely, definitely. Champ, all the belts out there. You got great belts, the green belt. There's so many belts we can get into and talk about. Your thoughts of that plateau or reaching that goal as a fighter, putting a belt on you, knowing that, hey, man, here's another step and another goal I've accomplished. What are your thoughts of that? Of one day
And,
accomplishing that?
and for anybody who has a belt, I know that's just like a terrific feeling, because it's not just that one fight that gets you that belt. It's the whole journey that gets you that belt. And I know it's a lot of time, a lot of not determination, but discipline. There's a lot
Yep.
of discipline and all that goes into that, and definitely a lot of hardships, a lot of friends you may lose, friends you may gain, and stuff like that on that journey. But I know once you get there, I know it's probably all worth it when you hear your name at the end of the day. You know what I mean?
That's
But
what's
I think the best belt to have is like really not saying to be hated, to be like, yeah, oh, I'd rather take that belt over that one. But it seems like if you have the WBC belt, it seems like you're just like you're in there. Everybody knows you if you have the WBC belt, or I'll say WBA. WBA is a nice belt too to have.
That's beautiful, champ. Thanks for expressing that. And the followers and people that are listening in that are just tuning in, like, how can they follow you on your social medias?
Oh yeah, my Instagram is Evan Holyfield with an underscore at the end, and my Twitter is Chief Holy, because you know we are definitely a tribe.
Definitely, champ. Um, give a shout out to your team, your family, and of course your supporters, man. And I don't like to use the word fans, but supporters. There's so many people that back you and support you, and no doubt about it, man. You're fun to watch in the ring. Let's be serious, man. You have a future, so I bring it like it is, brother.
I appreciate it. I appreciate all the support and love.
So give a shout out to who you
Oh,
want to. Yes.
okay. Hey, to all my supporters out there and my family, like my mom and dad, because especially my mom, because she was definitely taking me to practice because I had no car. Thanks for all the love and all the support. And without you, nothing would be possible. Because at the end of the day, without all my supporters and the people who tune in to watch me and the people who support me, what would I be fighting for? You know what I mean? Not what I would be fighting for, but what would be boxing without the supporters? We should be fighting in the streets. Crazy. But I appreciate all the love. Thank you.
Thank you so much for taking your time, especially during the starting of your camp, to come on the Slip Punches show. We hope in the near future to have you back, champ.
Thank you.
Thank you, man. All the best to you. Keep on punching. And are we going to hear a fight announcement anytime soon?
I believe so. I believe we got something in the pipeline for coming up in April. I'm not sure the date, but I heard probably the later part of April. So we're hoping to stay busy for sure.
Fantastic. Evan Holyfield, Young Holy, thank you so much for coming on the Slip Punches show. Yo, I just remember when I saw you in the hallway in the hotel in Atlanta. It was your birthday, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was definitely my birthday. I turned 24 on the
24. 23rd. Oh my God, you so young, yo.
Yeah, I know, but I be thinking like, dang, time does not stop.
Yeah, but you don't punch like you 24. You punch like you older, man.
I appreciate it.
No doubt. Champion, thank you so much again for coming on the Slip Punches show. And we'll be talking to you soon, okay?
All right, thank you. Stay up.
All right. Take care.
All right, you too.
Bye-bye. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in the Slip Punches show. We appreciate everybody. Evander Young, Evan Young Holyfield, man. What a great young man. We were so delighted to spend some time and talk to him tonight on the show. We're looking for big things to come out of this young man. He's a great young athlete, superior, very talented, and we really like what we see so far at this point. Once again, this is Damon Gonzalez from Latinbox Sports. We appreciate everybody tuning in. Keep on punching. This Friday, we got ProBox TV. Tune in online and check out ProBox TV. There's some great professional fights in Plant City, Florida. It's going to be streaming live, and that streaming is going to be special guest Antonio Tarver, Roy Jones Jr., and Paulie Malignaggi will be doing the streaming. So, again, ProBox.TV. Look into it this Friday for some great local fights. And once again, Damon Gonzalez, keep on punching. Everybody have a great evening. Bye-bye.